Sometimes you have to make things more expensive to make them trustworthy.
If you know how to tell a story, you know how to brand. And if you know how to brand, then it will sell. I think there's one topic that we all have struggled with, which is pricing.
Yeah.
Okay. How to price ourselves. Is it too expensive? Are we underpricing ourselves? What are we doing? And both me and Moose were watching Diary CEO, and they had this guest, Rory Shutterland.
Sutherland.
Shutterland. Something like that. Yep. Know my heart, right? And he was talking about how pricing creates trust, and us underpricing ourselves can make our audience not trust us. So listen to this.
A very big difference between cheap strawberries and pick your own strawberries. Now, pick your own strawberries are cheap, but there's a narrative as to why they're cheap, which is I put into some of the effort into the harvesting of the things, and I have to go out into a field and pick the things myself. Cheap strawberries, by contrast, may create some degree of uncertainty because you look at the market and go, well, if these strawberries were really good, why wouldn't they charge full price for them? What's wrong with this? And so quite often, sometimes you have to make things more expensive to make them trustworthy.
At this moment, I would like for you to raise your prices. Okay? Raise your prices. Raise your prices. So, I think this is such a needed and sometimes difficult topic, because when you hear people tell you things like, okay, one, know your worth, price yourself as your worth, don't ever try to battle it with prices. Like, you get nothing out of it when you are trying to go the cheap route to get to get the audience. But then you worry as possibly a beginner or middle aspiring entrepreneur of, am I overpricing? I know I have to price myself at a decent price, but am I overpricing? Because what qualifies me to get this price where, okay, the average will, the common advice is, okay, look at the average market, look at your experience and kind of gauge it in that kind of way. Okay, great. I'm still not sure if it's going to work. I don't know. I do like how he placed it as far as one is kind of like a do it yourself. And then the other one is like, it's already done for you. You don't want to have to do it yourself and do it for you pretty much the same price, or to do it for you cheaper. That's what I definitely got out of that. I was like, very, very true. So where some people, I could look at it from an educational standpoint, where some courses cost $1,000, your one-on-ones cost $100. How?
Yeah.
How? If some of the stuff, and I know I've made that mistake of in the very beginning. Oh, you get me on the phone for like $20.
That'll be $8.
You know what I mean? You get me on the phone. That's not the case now. Don't you dare. Okay? But you try. You get me on the phone $20. For a whole month, it was like $100 or something. There you go, 100. Cool.
Wow.
Right. thought I was like, I'm on the
Doing
phone.
it.
Yeah, right. I'm getting paid to talk.
Yeah.
Give me that. Right? Then, life happens and experiences happens, and it's like, oh no, this makes no sense at all. That it actually, one, when you price yourself super low, you attract super low clients. That requires a whole crap load out of you for the value price,
Yeah.
which is wild, which I never understood that. Like, why are you so demanding at $20? Right? Where you price yourself up, you get less headaches. You may not get so many clients because now the price went up, but you get targeted audience. You get the ideal audience. That's the one that will actually use the product, use the service, will get transformed by it, all because they understand for this price, I'm getting the exact result from an educational standpoint, motivational, entertainment standpoint. I'm getting the exact thing that I need. Shout out, as we've spoken before, the Drake tickets. Okay, the Drake tickets. If Drake was to do it for $100, I don't know how good this concert would be.
Actually true.
And here's the thing, based out of his experience, if he's been in the game for so long and he gives the $100 tickets, how good is this concert? That plays a part. Like, I can understand. I have a heart. Let's not say I understand. I have a heart for the very beginning people trying to figure it out. But if you got some skin in the game,
Yesterday's price is not today's price. He's certified.
and I'm talking about like years, and you still out here on some, we can do this for 100, we can do this for 200. And like, if you're still on that, oh no, your brand value is down. Brand value is down.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I will say, and I know this is not the this or that piece, but for some reason, as you were kind of expanding on it, I got more ideas to really break this down from a slightly different standpoint, because I don't want people to take this at face value and just instantly increase their prices. Now, I will say this. Most businesses are underpriced. It's the truth. Most businesses, especially people in service-based businesses, you're probably underpriced. I'm not going to lie.
You're probably
You're probably underpriced. Yeah, you're probably underpriced. And
you're probably underpriced.
and the reason for it is because we mentioned this sometime before, that when it's creative, there's not the known variables that exist in a business that is a commodity, or a product like a commodity, like a strawberry, like coffee, right? There are certain costs that are associated with those types of businesses, and more specifically, those types of products. That's just relative known information. Not the consumer may not know about it, but those who are dealing from, what do they call it, seed to fruit or something like that, or from the farm to the supermarket, the people involved in that chain of commands, they understand the common prices. So you can't really jack prices too much or undercut prices too much, because there's some level of know-how. Go for it.
Wait, but I will say, I saw, of course, on social media, for ice
TikTok.
cream, right? For ice cream, there is a like $6,000 ice cream.
Shut up.
I promise you.
Is it really? Wow.
Yes, it has like these expensive
cream.
truffles and everything. I did see expensive strawberries too, but I can't remember the price. but it gets people curious. It's like the Nipsey, not the Nipsey, the cheesesteak, the $100 cheesesteak. It gets people curious.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
Gets the people going.
Like, so I almost see when you do crazy prices like that, people are going to want to try to see what. Now you better back it up. Hello.
And that's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's
you
that
better
piece
back it
of
up.
it where,
Because I'm curious. If I had just random money chilling around,
a random $6,000, yeah.
random, like I don't need it really, like, why do I have it? I would try this ice cream because I'm like,
No, that
what
sounds interesting.
I mean, it looked like an experience, and this is what I love. It's like if you are upping your prices, what is the experience that you're giving? Because their presentation and everything was fire. So yes, listen to Moose. Don't up your price just cause, right?
Yeah.
He'll say it's different, but I will at least say if you up your price, that thing presentation wise, experience wise, better be white glove vibes depending on the price. Now you could be like, Nicky, I'm going from 10 to 20. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But let me tell you why I'm actually agreeing with what you're saying, because I'm saying as the price or your cost become known, it's easier to justify the price, right? So if you're saying, let's go to, was it crumble cookies?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Well, Last Crumb or Crumble Cookies? Which one? Because Last Crumb is the
one with the black box.
Okay, that's Last Crumb.
Okay, so Last Crumb, excuse me. So let's just go off of face value off of that. Number one, the box itself.
Yes.
The design on the box, the packaging of each cookie. If I knew nothing, I'm going to look at that product and instantly say that's minimum a $6 to $10 cookie, right? Just because I'm looking off of, well, the material of the bag. I've bought cookies in New York that are just like, they're wrapped, like saran wrap, whatever that is. This is like, yo, here you go.
Here you go. 50 cents. Thank you.
Quick $2 in a napkin. Like, there you go. Of course. Now, if you try to sell me that cookie for $100, I'm going to say, hold up a second. There's nothing in this product or service that shows me there's so much expenses that went into it that made you want to charge that price. But when I look at Last Crumb, you look at the packaging, it says it. So really what I'm saying is, don't just jump to raise your prices because you heard this segment or you heard this gentleman deliver a phenomenal, delivery on his thought process behind it. Because look, pricing psychology, it's a very real thing. But what I think we need to do, just so that we take it within context, is to really think about the value and what variables are known about the thing that we're selling or the business that we're involved in. That affects how you price and how people respond and believe it. Because if you go out the gate selling a $7,000 product, just because you want it to be $7,000 hoping to pique interest, but no one knows about you, well, part you got to create a little threshold for that. I think, the one experience I always think back to, and I see this regularly, people don't give great reviews, but the experience continues to bring people in, the Salt Bay restaurant or the Salt Bay restaurants.
Yeah.
I was reminded of it because a friend of mine went to Turkey and she shared, being in his restaurant and all this stuff. I mean, and I'm still looking at it, and I'm looking at the guy cutting the steak and looking at her in the eye. I said, bro, that's dangerous. Like, here you go cutting using a sharp knife and staring at the person right in the eye. But that's a phenomenal experience, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, she said, great experience, but the food wasn't all that great.
Yeah, no, food trash.
And it's now become almost a franchise restaurant around the world. They have locations all around the world. They still charge premium prices, but because of that. But I think they still get away with it because it is known that steaks are an expensive product. Now, I bet if you were trying to do that with chicken, he would have been out of business. It's like everyone knows.
They do it with burgers.
Well, no, I'm saying with chicken, because the cost of chicken compared to the cost of red meat and specifically high-end steaks, people know. Like if you go to a steakhouse, you know you're spending $70 to $100 on a steak. So I think he still gets away with pricing that way because his main thing is, you know, the steak and the red meat or whatnot. But if it was a chicken, you know, no one's gonna pay that much for a chicken meal because they
Unless he
know.
golds it out. He gold out the steaks and he golds out the burgers.
I can see
so
that. Yeah.
If you gold it out, yeah, you could
I can see that.
steak, shrimp, chicken, ostrich, doesn't matter.
But you
Put
see
some
what I'm saying?
salt
Though,
on
like,
that joint.
Yeah, the price of chicken, let's price per pound. The price of chicken per pound is going to be less than $10 a pound. This is on the super high end.
Now I want to know what the most expensive chicken plate is.
That's an interesting question. I'm just saying I've never seen a $100
We're gonna
chicken
find it,
plate.
people.
Somebody's going to, of course, bring it up.
We're going to look. Isaiah pulled it up right now. He pulled it up for the video experience right now. I'm gonna find it. We're gonna find the expensive chicken. But I agree with you on that because Roof Chris is another one, right? Roof Chris is known for how they come out with the steak, super sizzle. You don't want to touch it and let it sizzle for a little bit and then finally eat it. And then it's just like, yeah, I like the creme brulee more. I like the calamari more. I'm not, I go to Texas Roadhouse for steak. You feel me? Like, but you're paying for the experience. I did do Salt Bay. And it was a great experience. It was bad. Not bad, but it just, I wouldn't do it again.
Right.
You feel me?
Same.
It's like one of those
it's
things.
It's nice to just say you did it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just those things. What was it? I wouldn't necessarily say some people do it for a flex. Some people are just more of like, what is this about? Let me experience this. Those $1,000 tomahawk steaks and all that whole situation. Was it in the Maldives? They have the underwater restaurants. Like you don't pay for the food. You pay for the experience.
100%.
Yeah.
But you also associate with, if this restaurant is underwater, they must have spent X amount of dollars to build it. And so you're almost prepared to pay more because there are known variables within the experience that let you know this cost more. That's like the main thing I'm saying. And so for you as a brand or a business, put on display known variables that are of premium quality so people can't question, well, why is your thing 10x? Let's just say this, if I'm a videographer and I'm shooting from my phone and I say my prices are $10,000 an hour, right? And you're just like, okay, cool. Like, let me see your equipment. You're like, I bet, let's go. It's right here. Versus I say I'm a videographer and I pull out the red one. And I'm like, yeah, so here's immediately, I'm not even a videographer, but I know about the red one. Like that I know that's like a high-end camera. So if I were to see that, I would at least want to listen to, all right, now let me entertain this because they got the red one. That's the top of the top.
I mean, perception's everything.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And it's known. It's known that this is one of the most premium or prestigious cameras in the industry. And so if someone is dealing with that, you expect the price to automatically be higher. But if there are unknown variables or there are no known variables that display premium tier quality pricing or just top of the line things in general, it's difficult for the audience or the marketplace to believe your price point as something valid because they see no evidence around that show that kind of quality. So that's the part that I wanted to add in there. Just like within context, don't raise the price for the sake of raising the price. Display value, add value, so that when you bring that price point to the market, people are like, okay, I'll rock with you. And then also, who else just got hungry, like talking about tomahawk steaks? Low key, I'm like, yo, this thing just made me hungry. Yeah.
No, but yeah, let's end the conversation.